What is up, you guys? Welcome to another episode of the Raveraide podcast with your host, Tyler Hardie. And as always, I just want to take a moment to express my overwhelming love and gratitude for each and every single one of you guys who tune in on a daily and weekly basis to hear about all things Raveraide, self-improvement, spirituality, biohacking, everything that we're all about here at Raveraide, with the main intention to assist you in becoming the most self-loved and self-actualized version of yourself that you can possibly be. So then that way you can uncover your gift and share it with the world because it needs it right now more than ever. And so hopping into today's episode, so good to be back on the mics, guys. It's been a crazy 8 weeks and I just, I'm now getting settled in and I've got a bunch of updates for you guys on like what I've been up to, things with Raveraide. Just so much has changed. Like I feel like I've lived like a whole lifetime in the past 8 weeks, and it's all been, for the better. And I feel like a lot of it's been really geared towards, the preparation of that I've been using for the past few years to get to this moment has really been like life has opened itself up in a way that's so beautiful and saying, hey, here's everything that you've ever wanted. Now go and do it. We're going to give you the ingredients to bake the cake, and now it's your opportunity to go do that and to serve, your highest good, to serve others' highest good, to serve, the world at large in any way that I possibly can. And, sometimes life takes you on different, routes than what you were planning, and you have to be open to that. You have to be willing to receive, you have to be willing to allow your ego to not get in the way and block yourself from, what could be out there for you. A greater potential, a better route, a better scenario playing out. And, that's kind of what's happened over the past couple weeks or, 8 weeks or so. And I'm so excited to get back into this with you guys. And the game plan moving forward, for those of you guys that, don't follow me on Instagram or haven't seen much of what I've been up to, I no longer really have an address or residence anymore. I'm actually just traveling the country, and I am doing solar sales as well as running Raveraide from the road. And it ties in really well with, what the vision was for Raveraide, and I'll explain more of that later. But ongoing, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be posting one podcast episode a week on Mondays. I'll record them every Sundays because Sunday is the best day for me to be able to set aside the time and give you guys my undivided attention and really, go all in like I was every single day when I was in Austin. And so I really want to make sure that, each episode that I do is really packed full of valuable information and updates on everything that's going on. So then that way you guys can continue to follow the Raveraide journey, just because it's really starting to heat up and a lot of good things are starting to happen. And I'm excited to share those things with you guys over the course of this year. But kind of going back to it, I had an opportunity that popped up to kind of step into a new profession. And, it really came out of nowhere, but it was one of those things where, I'd been doing a lot of, work around my subconscious mind and improving my relationship with money because, I suspect that, the majority of people in life struggle with their relationship with money, due to a number of things. One, due to what they were taught and their belief systems around money from a young age, but also on top of that too, lack of financial literacy. And so I think this will really land for a lot of people is, like I've always talked about in previous episodes, is that you're the vibrational center point of your entire reality, and everything emanates from within and then reverberates and reflects back to you, what your beliefs are. And so I started realizing, a lot of things that I was taught at a young age due to my, parents' financial situation was playing out in my life and causing me to live subpar of what I knew I was capable of when it came to money. And I was never in a point where, it was like dire straits or anything like that, but I just knew that I was capable of more. And I knew that I was capable of, having a high degree of financial literacy and having a high degree of success, and I didn't need to necessarily wait just for Raveraide to, continue to take off to start experiencing those things. And, I realized I didn't need to necessarily struggle in the process of that. And there's really no nobility in struggling while creating something, and I think this should land for a lot of, young entrepreneurs like myself is you don't have to necessarily eat shit in the journey, I think there's value in eating shit, and I think there's value in, having those times where you learn, how to pinch a couple pennies together and make things work with what you've got to work with, and being resourceful, and, really, being, for lack of a better term, just buckling down, when you need to. It teaches you the value of money and the energy exchange inside of money, because it's so much more than just paper, or whatever currency it is that we're going to be using in the future. It's, an exchange. It's a means of exchange for energy and time. And so I've really learned a lot about that over this, course of the past, few months. And so kind of tying back into it, getting back on subject here, is I spent from about Electric Forest, up until, about 8 weeks ago, every single day, just putting in hours and hours and hours on my meditation cushion, focusing on, my subconscious mind, and figuring out, okay, what are the things that are causing my reality to play out the way that it is, and taking full ability and ownership around all areas of my life, not just money or business or relationships or anything like that, but like just everything, and really started focusing on my subconscious. And I'll explain some of the things that I did on a daily basis that really helped me rewire my subconscious mind, and then I'll explain some of the results that have ensued because of that. And so, first off, like I said, is everything emanates from within, and you're the vibrational center point. So if you want something to change in your life, it starts from your relationship to yourself. It starts with your relationship internally and how you feel about certain subject matters and things yourself, and healing those things and getting down to the deep, root cause of that trauma. If you're someone who struggles with money, for example, there's a good chance that you struggle with money because that's what you were taught. That's the vibration that you were brought up in, potentially. And that is what's playing out. And it may not even be your fault. It's your fault if you allow it to continue once you gain the level of awareness around it to keep letting that play out. But oftentimes, most of the things that we carry out in our life unconsciously are a byproduct of what's been taught to us. And so it's good to be gentle with yourself. It's good to be understanding. It's good to be loving as you're peeling back those layers and getting a deep understanding of the causation for why certain things are playing out in your life the way that they are. But when you gain that awareness, it's important to start taking corrective, affirmative action to rewire the subconscious mind internally, but also take action steps towards, that change that you're seeking. And it really does begin within, because if you don't believe that you could have a certain amount of money, or you have a certain amount of success, or a certain partner, or a certain job, or a certain level of health, then it's most likely not going to happen, because you're going to find a way to self-sabotage. You're going to find a way to hit what's called the upper limit syndrome, and you're going to find that upper limit in yourself, and then you're going to bring yourself back down by self-sabotaging. And so that was one thing that I picked up on was, I had a lot of issues with self-sabotaging myself and not, declaring what I was worth, and then taking that action towards what I felt that I was worth and making that change for myself. And so from the time that Electric Forest happened up until that this opportunity came up, I literally sat on a cushion meditating for hours upon hours, because I knew that it wasn't something that I needed to focus on externally. I knew that it was something that I needed to take care of internally within myself. So then that way the opportunity could present itself. So then that way I could step into it and not mess it up for myself or self-sabotage. That I could step into it with a deep knowing and a feeling and of a surety that I could do whatever I needed to do to get where I needed to go. And that's what's made all the difference. And I think that a lot of people step into opportunities and then they actually, mess it up for themselves, because they don't believe that they're worthy of such a good opportunity. They don't believe that they're worthy of a partner that is amazing. They don't feel that they're worthy of love. They don't feel that they're worthy of whatever it is. And when that thing comes and gives you the opportunity to transcend that belief system, you find a way to ruin it for yourself. You find a way to pull yourself back down. And unfortunately, that was something that I did to myself for such a long time. I did it for years and years and years. Really my whole life is just self-sabotaging myself for no good reason. And through that practice of meditation, through that practice of, going deep within and really seeing like you're the causation of, keeping yourself the same as everyone else around you, or not achieving, my full potential, you start to see, in which ways you keep yourself from everything that you've always wanted. And through that meditative process, through journaling, through, doing the work as it came up, I started to see that it was never anyone else's fault. It was never, the situation that I grew up in. It was never all these different things. It was me. And it was me allowing those things to continue to play out and allowing myself to not hit my full potential and not doing every single thing that I knew that I possibly could to create the life that I deserve and create the life that you deserve. And I want you to ask yourself as you're listening to this, in what ways are you potentially self-sabotaging yourself? In what ways are you, hitting that upper limit of what you think that you're actually worthy of, and then pulling yourself right back down with familiar people, familiar places, familiar habits and routines and things that maybe aren't as conducive for you as what could be conducive for you if you just pushed through that and really believed in yourself and really held yourself accountable for what needed to happen to, materialize the life that I know that you're capable of and the life that I know that you deserve. I really want you to ask yourself that, because that right there is, the golden question towards living the life that you truly deserve, is questioning your beliefs, going deep within yourself, and really seeing, quite truthfully, what I realized, the absurdity of the stories that so many of us live in, the absurdity of the mediocrity that we allow ourselves to live in. And when you start seeing how ridiculous that is, you stop living it. You start working and being and doing in opposition of everything that you used to be, because you do realize that you're worthy. You do realize that you're special. You do realize that you have an innate ability to deliver a gift that is so unique to you that the world would not be a better place if you didn't do it. And that's the realization that I came to, is that it's about going all in. It's about the commitment. And, through the meditative process, it allowed me to see more of that truth. And it had been years of work leading up to this. It's not like I just, decided, this moment I'm going to work on this, and then it just, things have started falling into place. It was years and years and years, and it's a process, and there's levels to everything, and you're always learning exactly what it is that you're meant to be learning at this exact moment. And if this is resonating for you, then this is what you're meant to be learning. And if it's not, then it's not. And it'll find you right when it's supposed to, because life is the ultimate teacher. It knows exactly what you're here to learn. It knows exactly what you chose to come here to learn and to experience. And, that's the beauty of the human experience. And so, getting back to it, months and months and months, and then this opportunity comes. And this opportunity, as it starts to unfold, I'm like, man, this ties in perfectly. Because one of the criteria that I had when I was meditating and when I was, architecting what it was that I wanted, was that it couldn't interfere with Raveraide and everything that I was creating. It couldn't, impede from the dream and the mission and the promise that, I've made to you as a customer, as a friend, as a family member, part of our tribe here at Raveraide. So that was part of it. And when I found out that it was one of those things that I could do from anywhere, well, relatively anywhere, there's certain places that are better for it than others, but those places happen to line up pretty well with, where I think Raveraide's going to have the most success. I started seeing, okay, I can make both of these things work, and I can be really good at both of them, and I can, continue to deliver on my promises and do all the things that, have needed to be done inside of Raveraide to keep us on a healthy, steady growth trajectory, and, but also still really put myself ahead in a lot of ways, because I think anybody who's an entrepreneur knows, like, you've got to take some serious risk to get anywhere. Aside from taking someone else's money and going after your dreams that way, like if you're someone who's like me, who's self-funding everything, who's done things like sell their house, sell their cars, really renounce all worldly possessions in exchange for building your business, that it takes everything from you. but it gives you everything in return. So you're not losing anything. And so where I was going with that is I just really think that, this lined up so perfectly, because the plan is, and I know I've told some of you this, I'm sure in passing, if I've met you in person or in other podcasts I've mentioned this, is that we're planning on getting an RV and we're just going to travel the country, and I'm going to be selling and then going to music festivals and growing Raveraide and just doing that, because I realized something about myself was I don't like being in the same place for very long. I like experiencing, I like seeing, I like, having new stimulus on a daily basis, because it feels like I'm growing, it feels like I'm changing, it feels like I'm developing at a faster pace and at a higher quality rate. Because in order for your life to change, you've got to change out the known. You've got to be willing to step into something that's new, that's unfamiliar, that might challenge you, that might push you, that might change your perspective. And so these things line up really, really well. And when I was first learning it over the past, I'm still learning, of course, but like when I was learning this, it took all my time because it was a new stimulus, it was new energy. Now I'm settling into what the routine's like, how to execute, at a high level. And so I'm able to get back into the podcast. We're still running Raveraide. We're working on some really big projects right now. Actually, our biggest project that we've ever had is coming up. A big milestone for every single thing that I've ever wanted for Raveraide is actually going to be happening here very soon. And I can't share all the details on it just yet, but I definitely have dropped some subtle hints as to what it could be. So if you follow me intently, then you might know what's going on. And it's something that I've thought of since the first day that I thought of Raveraide, and to see it actually playing out such a beautiful thing, and I'm so grateful for that. And so the balancing of everything is super important. And getting to that point where I didn't go to the gym a bunch over the past 8 weeks was just so uncharacteristic of me. And so getting back into that and balancing all of that out and finding that flow from my day to day has been really a big thing. And I've noticed like my mental health is better when I podcast. Like this is like just as much for me as it is for you guys. And I'm just grateful that there are people on the other side of the microphone that listen. And I want to continue to provide value and help you and assist you in becoming the best version of yourself, because through my experience of life, I've started to realize more and more, and I've known this for a long time, but I've always like kind of upper limit syndrome myself, and kept myself from sharing my gift in a lot of ways. But like part of my gift and my purpose here is to speak and to share, and share all the wisdom and experience that I've gotten to live in my perspective, because I'm realizing it is quite unique, just like yours is, and every person's is very unique, and none is better than no one's perspective is better than any others. But like my perspective in the life that I've experienced from a young age has been different, and I think that it can help a lot of people, and I would be selling myself short and all of you by not continuing to do this. And I'm just grateful to be back here. But yeah, so basically kind of getting back to it, we there's a lot of uncertainty around things right now, but it's not that I'm worried that things aren't going to work out. I think I'm more certain ever that things are going to work out. It's just, the way in which it's having to unfold is slightly different than what I had initially envisioned. And I think that having that adaptability in all things is super important to get where you want to go, because the mind has a picture perfect idea of like, this, then this, then this, then this, and then I'm there, right? And oftentimes that's not how it plays out. But it's not to say that the route that you're going to be going, the route that's far less traveled, isn't going to be the better route for you in so many ways. There's a wealth of experience, there's a wealth of opportunities, there's a wealth of, just getting to be that has come with the Raveraide experience that's been worth more than anything to me, is just the ability to experience at a higher level and to be able to create something that was once an idea in my mind 2 years ago into something that's growing at such a healthy, rapid rate that I'm just so grateful for it. And it's happened in such a better way than I could have ever imagined. And it's just getting started too. That's the beautiful part about it. And, I think that one of my biggest intentions in this is to give you the gift and allow you to open it yourself. And what I mean by that is I am not here to tell you what to do or how to do it, but to simply instill a belief and a knowing into you that you are capable of absolutely anything. And that, just a short 5 years ago, I was, 300 pounds. I was disassociated from my reality. I was stuck in all trauma. I was in fear, anxiety, fight or flight, using substances, using things that were not good for my health, and quite honestly, not even having a healthy identity whatsoever, and not living in the frame that I know was possible for me now. So I don't really care where you're at right now. I don't care where you've been. I don't care who you've been in the past. Now is the opportunity for you to make the change. It's the opportunity for you to actualize what it is that you're capable of being. And this is what Raveraide is all about. It's not about just a supplement. The supplement is a piece of what it is that we do here. It's a piece to help you on the physical, mental, and spiritual level become a greater version of yourself and assist you, so in that way your body can, successfully get through this journey and experience this journey at its highest capacity. But it's about the message, it's about the mission, it's about getting the most out of life and squeezing it for all that it's worth, and interacting with creation and interacting with, perfection, because this life is perfection. Every single thing about this life is perfection, and my job, I feel, is my duty and obligation that I'm happy to fulfill, is to assist you in seeing the perfection of that life experience that is before you. Because when you see the perfection in your trauma, when you see the perfection why something did or didn't work out, when you see the synchronicities, when you see how every single thing and every single person that comes into your life is there for a very particular reason, that's when you can really start to uncover what this is all about and really start to live the life that we're also capable of living. And, needless to say, there's a lot of things going on in the world, and there's a lot of things that are designed to cause you to fail. There's things that are designed to put you in a place of fear and anxiety and lower vibrational frequency. And I can tell you that you can break those things, that you aren't your anxiety, you aren't your depression, you aren't your fears. Those are byproducts, of what you've allowed to happen in your past and not believing yourself enough to take control of your reality and synchronize with, infinite intelligence that allows us to create and be anything that we want to be in our short time here. And I, have gone through a lot of growth in the past, few months, and in a way it's been healthy to step away from the podcast a little bit and actually go live and implement and experience the things that I speak, and my number one goal is to be congruent. The things that I tell you guys, to do or things that would be beneficial, those are things that I do. That's my way of living, because I want Raveraide to have, the energy and the feel that it's about optimizing your life in every single which way and form, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, financially, your career, your relationships, everything, getting the most out of everything. And we do that by healing our traumas. We do that by looking at the truth for what it actually is and what we are for what we actually are, and really making that change and being willing to receive and to be open to a new potential that's far greater than what we could ever imagine. And I know that that's possible for you, because out of all the things that could have happened, every single scenario that's ever happened in life, the odds that you're listening to this right now at this time, in this moment, and that you're even alive is such a blessing. And I want you to take the things that you learn that resonate as truth for you and determine your own truth. I don't want to be the person that tells you everything and then you take it as gospel. My job is to share my experiences and what feels true to me. And if it resonates for you, then that's amazing. And if it doesn't, then that's okay. because maybe your life experience isn't meant to tie into what my beliefs are. But maybe there's one piece of information or two pieces of information that you can take that resonate as truth for you, that you can implement in your day-to-day life and make a drastic change, make a pivotal shift towards a greater reality for yourself. And I know it's possible because I've done it in so many ways. And, I want to share some of the things. I'm going to share, a part of this year, my big word was commitment, right? And I think that in a lot of ways, I share a lot of what goes on in my life with Raveraide and everything else, and personally my experiences. But, my commitment is that I'm going to push harder and I'm going to be more open about everything that's going on and the experiences that I've had, and we're going to talk about things that might be uncomfortable. I'm going to share some of my personal experiences and, maybe shortcomings that I experienced in my life, to this day. So that way you can see that, I'm just a normal human, just like you. We all come from, the same exact thing. We're all creation. And, that no matter where you're at, wherever you come from, that you're capable of becoming more, becoming everything. You can be everything. Every single thing, every single one. You can be that. And that's just a choice, just like anything else is. And so this year, my main intention, I think I'm going to wrap up here on this episode, is to really commit to every single thing that I'm doing. Commit to my health, commit to my spiritual practice, commit to my businesses, commit to Raveraide, commit to you on the podcast, commit to you as a customer, even more than we already are, because I know that there's more to it. And just be even more committed to every single thing that's playing out in my life, because I know that commitment is what's going to, really help us get to where we all want to go. In any way that I can assist you, I'm here to do that, because I'm you and you're me, and, what I do for others is what I'm doing for myself. And I see that as truth more than ever now. And if more people lived in that, we wouldn't have as many problems as we have on this planet. If we took a moment to, see ourselves, the best pieces of ourselves, and even sometimes the worst pieces of ourselves, and heal those pieces, and then see that in others and assist others, man, we would heal so quick. We would solve so many problems so quickly. In a moment. All in the eternal now. It would happen so quickly. But it requires each of us to take that responsibility, accountability, and action towards, healing whatever it is that's keeping us in limitation, keeping us stuck, keeping us subpar from what we're each capable of. And I think a lot of things are going to change over the next, decade. I think a lot of things are going to change. And I think a lot of people are here just to witness and experience that and be part of what I feel is going to be one of the biggest shifts in human history on this planet. I think there's going to be a lot of things that change for the better. And so it may not look like it now, but I think there's a lot of amazing people that are doing really good work here on this planet that want to see the world be a better place. And I want to contribute in any way that I can to doing that and assist others, and be an example for others to do the same thing. And so kind of touching, that's really what's been going on. I may have forgot to mention that we no longer live in Austin. Like I said, I don't really have an address anymore. I packed everything up that was non-essential and I put it into a storage unit, and Colton's doing the same thing. And, he's working on his music career, and we're just, going place to place, and, there's no real plan on what's going to happen, and I think there's a beauty in that, being so structured and being so, regimented is a good thing to a certain point until you become too rigid. And I think there's a lot of rigidity coming in when I was in Austin, because I felt like we were doing a lot of the same things day in and day out, but it was all prep work for, this experience in this chapter. And so no time was ever wasted or anything like that. But, there's this like really interesting balance of like flow that's happening right now, where it's like I'm needing to flow to wherever it is that the universe needs me, or wherever I need myself to be to, experience the greatest, gain in my work and profession and Raveraide and everything. So every single thing that's going on, but also incorporating that discipline and that willingness to do what needs to be done inside of that flexibility, to make sure that we're maximizing and getting the most out of, the experience that we're having. Just because like I genuinely, it was interesting. I drove by a school today that I wanted to actually play college baseball at. And I ended up, driving by it, and I realized in that moment, I had this moment of, man, you know what? I'd rather be doing this than what that life would have been. And that was a big thing for me because, like I mentioned in previous episodes, like it was one of those things where I felt like it kind of messed my life up by not continuing to play baseball. And to have that moment was like a good piece of closure for me of like, man, I actually would rather be doing what I'm doing now because I know that this is my purpose. I know that this is what I came here to do, and that everything played out perfectly. It played out exactly the way that I was supposed to. And I'm so grateful for that, even though in that time and for years after, it didn't feel like that. And so, allowing life to really help and assist me in healing and growing was really awesome. But like maintaining that discipline inside of everything that we're doing to get the most out of the experience, and that way we can deliver to you guys the best products, the best services, the best education, the best content, the truth, because there's a lot of things that people are seeking right now, and I think truth is the main thing. We want to get to the bottom of why it is that we're here, what we're meant to experience, why we're meant to experience it, and how we can experience it together at a greater level. And it's an amazing thing, and I'm excited to continue to push this podcast forward and everything that we're doing at Raveraide. And so to give you guys kind of an idea of what I do know going into this year is that the goal is to go to as many festivals as possible over the next little bit. So some of the ones that we're kind of eyeing right now are Okeechobee, looking for potentially going to Ultra. There's potentially EDC on the radar as well. There's so many things that are up in the air right now. There's some festivals that we're potentially going to be working with as well, and so it's really just kind of up in the air. But we're going to be where we need to be to serve the people that need to be served or get to be served, and help us grow this mission into something bigger than life. Because I have so many amazing plans for this company and everything that we're doing here that I just want to see it be actualized. And I know that happens one interaction at a time, one person at a time, one customer at a time. And I'm just taking it in stride on a daily basis. The team's taking it in stride on a daily basis. And I will say that we are, without going too far into it, we are nearing development completion of the third flavor of Raveraide. I can't really say much other than that at this current time, but the plan is to have that out in the springtime. Just depending on a few different variables that we're waiting on before we can firm up like a specific month per se. But just know that we've got another flavor worked out. We just restocked the lemonade. I think we sold out of about half of our inventory within the first week. So you guys are definitely buying a lot of product, and we're super grateful for that and appreciative. And we're continuing to keep developing the product and making it better and better, and just really rounding everything out and getting it as perfect as we possibly can. Because what keeps happening is every time we make it, we're like, we can make it better this way, we could do this, we could do that. And so for those of you guys that have been with us for a long time, there's been a lot of iterations and changes to our product, and it's because we keep figuring out how to do it better. And instead of being satisfied with where we're at, we want more. We want to create the best of the best. And obviously I'm biased because it's my company, but like, we have the best hydration stick on the planet. We have the best hydration product on the planet. Like nothing else even comes close to it. And we're really just getting started. We're really just catching stride on flavor development and everything that we're doing, because what we're doing is novel. We're not cutting corners. We're not using natural flavors. We're not doing all these things that all these other companies are doing, because I never wanted to put my name on something that I didn't fully believe in. And I fully believe in what we're doing at Raveraide, and the developments that we're making and the improvements that we're making on a constant basis. And it's going to keep reflecting in your user experience with us. And that's what it was all about from the get-go. And it's about reducing medical related incidents. It's about helping people optimize and get the most out of the experiences that they're having. And so that'll always be our mission and our focus here ongoing. But we're we're going to be going to a lot of festivals. The goal is to buy our RV like middle of the year, and we got so many fun things that we've got planned with that. And it's just like, it's going to be a fun chapter. It's going to be an awesome chapter, and it's cool. It's awesome. It's gratifying to see something that was literally an idea 2 years ago starting to really manifest and ramp up. And I know for a fact that I can't even comprehend what it's going to end up being. And I don't need to worry about that. It's just something that we get to experience here and now. And so no matter where you're at in your journey, whether that's just getting started, or you don't even know what you want to do yet, or you're in the beginning stages, or you're in the middle stages, or you're having great success, like, take that moment to really express gratitude and know that moment that you're experiencing right now, it'll never come again. And that you don't want to get to the end of the experience, no matter how great it is, and be like, man, I didn't live enough of that. I didn't get enough of that. I didn't allow myself to experience it fully. Because that's the only regret you're ever going to have, is did you live in that moment fully? Did you, experience it fully? Because it was your moment. It is your moment. Right now is your moment. Everything that you're experiencing is your moment. And I just want you to get the most out of it. I want you to experience it. I want you to experience it in its totality, in its fullness. Because moments fly, memories last forever. And, you just want to look back and know that you lived all of it as much as you could, with as much love in your heart as you possibly can. And I'm excited for the rest of, what this journey holds in store for us here at Raveraide. And thank you for being part of our family here, because without you, it's not possible. And I can tell you that this team works their asses off to make this a reality, and they're going to continue to do so. They're more fired up than ever, and so we're excited to see what this year holds. So without further ado, guys, be sure to take something that resonated for you, and apply it, integrate it, play around with life and creation, and make change for yourself, and be easy on yourself, and be light with everything that you do, and lighthearted. And and then final update, we're doing some migrating of hosting on our website, so it's been down for the past couple weeks, and we got all the orders up to date as of today, which is the 8th of January. So if you've made an order, your order is already in the mail and or already delivered to you from Black Friday, from Christmas, from everything. But the website is currently down. We are going to be available on Amazon within like the next week or so. So if you're needing product, that's going to be the best place to go for the time being while we get the website updated. But yeah, guys, without further ado, my name is Tyler Hardie, and I love each and every single one of you guys so much. Have a great week. We'll talk soon.